Hello, my name is Caden. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. We are working on a series of the effects of adrenaline and endorphins. We have already talked about visual distortions. We have talked about diminished sound or auditory exclusion. We're going to be talking a little bit about slow motion. It actually helps you a little bit because what it does is that your brain can only process so much information at a certain time. And when it's getting all these inputs, it's going to be slowing things down. For me, I noticed it especially when I was playing baseball and a little bit in football, where I always know that I am going to be making a great play when it's coming in slow motion. Most of you guys and girls out there have remembered a time where everything is coming in slow motion, where you are in control of everything and everything goes. When I find that I'm going to completely screw up in baseball and football is when everything is coming in too fast and I can't process it all. Okay, so when you're talking to the police, you got to be aware of that slow motion in time. If you're telling your story and there is some time issues with it, you may look like a liar. There is this one quote. I don't know who said this, but it's kind of fascinating that when you really take a look into it. Basically, during a violent shootout, I look over, drawn to sudden mayhem, and was puzzled to see a beer can slowly floating through the air past my face. That was even more puzzling was that when they had a federal, they had the word federal printed on the bottom. They turned out to be shell casings ejecting by the officer who was firing next to me. That should tell you a lot, especially when you're in that slow motion effect where certain things are going to be becoming important and helping you in processing all these facts into your brain. Because again, slower computers have a harder time processing programs, and that is something that you really need to be aware of when we are having adrenaline dump and things like that. So slow motion in time, basically, this is another great sense. During a non-stressful solution, our sensory cortex may be balanced by processing a variety of sensory inputs, including sound, touch, smell, and about 200 degrees of visual input. 200 degrees. We were talking about your visual, okay? Under periods of extreme stress, when the thalamus has shut down all sensory input except for the high-resolution fovea, we suddenly have processing power to spare. It's basically you're speeding up your clock. If you're aware of processors, you can speed up the clock and slow it down. Okay, and this gives the brain the ability to speed up your processors where your sensory input is a little bit better. Okay. I don't think anything else needs to be really said about this. This is a continuing series on what adrenaline does in your body when you are perceiving your environment around you and how to verbalize your story to the police officers, not at the scene, but with your lawyer later down the road. My name is Caden. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I hope this helped.